is the story of the Brementown Musicians. Once there was a donkey who was getting old. One day he heard his master say, "This donkey can't pull the loads that I need. I'm going to sell him to the glue factory." Well, that very day, the donkey nosed up the latch on his stall and ran away. Down the road he trotted, clip-clop, clippity-clop. As he went along, he came to a sign that said, "Brementown, this way." He thought, "Hee-haw, howdy! I've got a fine singing voice. I'll just go to Brementown and be a musician there." So off he went, clippity-clop-clop, until he met a cat who was curled up in a ray of sunshine by the side of the road. "Help me out!" cried the cat. "Oh dear," said the donkey. "Mistress Pussycat, you have a face as long as 3 rainy days. What is wrong?" "My mistress says I can't catch the mice in the house anymore. She was going to put me in a sack and throw me in the river and drown me. So I've run away. And here I am. But what do I do now?" "Oh, my dear Mistress Pussycat," said the donkey, "you have a beautiful voice. I'm going to Brementown to be a musician there. Come with me." "I will," said the cat. And so she jumped up on the donkey's back, and off they went, clippity-clop-clop, down the road to Brementown, until they met a dog. "Bow, wow, woe is me," howled the dog. "What is wrong?" said the cat. "Why are you so sad?" "Oh, my master says I don't catch enough rabbits. He was going to take me out in the field and shoot me. So I ran away. And here I am. But now what do I do?" "Well," said the cat, "you have a fine voice. We're going to Brementown to be musicians there. Come along with us." "All right, I will," said the dog. And now the donkey and the cat and the dog trotted along down the road to Brementown until they met a rooster who was sitting on top of a fence post. "Cock-a-doodle-boo, hoo, hoo," crowed the rooster. "Oh my, what's wrong?" asked the dog. "Well, my mistress says I don't get up early enough to be a good alarm clock anymore. She was going to chop my head off and throw me in the soup. So I flew away. And here I am, but now what do I do?" "Well, you can sing beautifully," said the dog. "Come with us. We're going to Brementown to be musicians." And so the rooster flew up onto the donkey's head and perched between his ears, and off the animals went, clippity-clop-clop, trot, 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 down the road to Bremen. Well, they went along and they went along, and the sun began to set, and the animals were tired and hungry. "Oh, I wish we could find a place to stay for the night." "Well," said the rooster, "maybe there's a house down the road. I'll just fly into this tall pine tree and see what I can see." So the rooster flew up to the top of the tree, and sure enough, there in the distance, not far away, was a little house. There was a light burning in the window. The rooster flew down and reported what he had seen. "Let's go to the little house. Maybe We can stay there. Maybe there'll be a morsel of food." The animals agreed, and so they walked on down the road, and soon they reached the little house. They needed to see what was inside first before they knocked on the door. So the donkey trotted up close to the window. The dog climbed up on the donkey's back, and the cat on the dog's back. The rooster perched on the donkey's head, and in this way they were all able to peer in the window. A warm fire filled the room with a glow. There was delicious food laid out on the table, and there were 3 men sitting around the table. The animals thought, "Oh, this looks like a good place to stop." They peered so sharply, they leaned so far into the window that pressing on it, crash, the window broke in and the animals fell into the room. They were surprised and began to howl and meow and cock-a-doodle-doo and hee-haw. Cock-a-doodle-doo, meow, bow, hee-haw. Suddenly, the room was filled with loud noises and large bodies. Now, these 3 fellows were robbers. In among the delicious food were piles of coins they had been counting. But when they heard all this noise and felt all these creatures falling into their room, they thought, "Ah, help, monsters, witches, goblins," and they ran out the door as fast as they could into the nearby forest. Now the animals picked themselves up and ate the delicious food. There was meat and bones, there were vegetables, there was grain, there was water to drink. When their tummies were full, they each found a cozy spot to spend the night. The rooster flew up into the rafters and settled himself there. The cat curled up on the warm hearth close to the fire. The dog lay down with his head on his paws on the rug in front of the fireplace. And the donkey settled himself just outside the little house. The door stayed open so that he could keep an eye on his friends. Meanwhile, out in the forest, the robbers were talking. "What was that? What just happened?" "I don't know, but our gold is back there on that table, and I'm going to go get it." "Well, you go right ahead," said the other robbers to their chief. "I'm going." So off went the chief robber back to the house. He found the door open. He tiptoed inside. The fire had burned down low. It was quite dark. He couldn't see his way to the table. And so, out of his pocket, he pulled a stub of a candle, and he went to poke it into the coals of the fire, thinking he'd just light the candle, and then he could see his way to collect the gold on the table. But when he did, he didn't poke the candle into the coals. It was the cat's eyes that had reflected the light from the fire. So the robber stuck the candle in her eye. Meow! The cat screamed and jumped straight up and began to scratch the robber with her claws right in his face. Well, the robber was so surprised that he stepped back right onto the dog's tail. Bow! The dog sank his sharp fangs into the robber's leg. Meanwhile, the rooster flew down from the rafters and began to beat his wings into the robber's face. Oh dear, the robber had had enough. He went running out the door just as fast as he could. But when he passed the donkey gave him a swift kick, ow, with his back legs as he went by. Well, the robber came running back to his friends. Well, where's the gold? I don't know, and I don't care. There was a witch in there. She attacked me with her claws, and then a monster stabbed me in the leg with his long knife. Meanwhile, the judge sat high above, calling, "Bring the rogue to me." And when I ran out the door, another goblin hit me with a sledgehammer. I'm never going back to that house. They can have that gold. So the robbers went away. The animals never saw them again. They made themselves cozy and comfortable in the little house. And they never did go to Bremen to be musicians there. And that's the story of the Brementown Musicians.